Police in Trinidad issue warning as fake reports of deaths from recent flooding make the rounds. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Tuesday, October 23rd. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. As relief efforts continue in Trinidad and Tobago, police are urging residents to stop disseminating fake news that's putting a heavy burden on law enforcement and rescue teams dealing with the aftermath of extensive flooding. Speaking at a news conference on Tuesday, Police Commissioner Gary Griffith blasted those who've been circulating misinformation that as many as 16 people had drowned in the flooding that began last weekend. He said the reports caused a massive panic and diverted resources that could have been better utilized in assisting those among the thousands affected by the flooding.
That is irresponsible behavior. When you send messages like this, what that does to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, boasting and putting on social media that 16 persons have been missing, what that did, it forced me to have to utilize my resources in another area that can affect law-abiding citizens and the situation where threats were really being escalated. So I think it's very irresponsible, and we cannot be using social media as an avenue for whatever reason you have. I have my job to do, and my job is certainly not to make friends. My job is to secure each and every citizen in this country. And when persons use social media to make irresponsible comments to say that I know for a fact 13 people have drowned, and then I have to pump security resources in that area, and then after another one, he will come and say that 16 persons are missing, and he knows for a fact. We cannot continue like this. I ask.
Meantime, Griffiths also disclosed that an emergency response patrol will provide extra security in flood-affected areas.
It is actually going to be officially launched tomorrow. However, we ignited it earlier. There were 42 mobile patrols. They will continue to provide high visibility, to provide a deterrent, and to ensure a rapid response as required throughout, especially in those areas that were hardest hit, to ensure that we can have a degree of control in those areas.
The cleanup exercise, National Security Minister Stuart Young said it was proceeding smoothly, and he welcomed the announcement by the Met Service that the adverse weather alert has been downgraded to a yellow level. It remained in effect up to 6 p.m. Tuesday. But Young, who's also the communications minister, said there are still areas underwater and any rains would worsen the situation. Meantime, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt says the flooding experienced in Trinidad and Tobago underscores the impact of climate change. Skerritt, whose country is still recovering from the battering it took a year ago when Hurricane Maria caused widespread devastation, says he spoke with his Trinidad and Tobago counterpart, Dr. Keith Rowley, regarding the floods and expressed the solidarity of the people of Dominica.
It appears that they have suffered tremendously through flooding, and we are here to support and to provide whatever assistance we the way we can. But this flooding brings to home the whole issue that we have been speaking about in this world for several decades, the issue of climate change. And not only is Trinidad and Tobago exposed to this, but you see in Europe, in Asia, there's massive flooding taking place. But we really feel for our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago. There's flooding, and of course the rain won't stop. So we continue to pray that the rain will cease and that the situation will be brought under control, and our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago can go about their lives in a normal way. But it's a real concern.
2 earthquakes rattled Trinidad and Tobago just minutes apart late Monday night, but there were no reports of damage or injuries. The Seismic Research Center at the University of the West Indies said the first quake was felt at 11:33 p.m. and measured 5.1 on the Richter scale. It was located about 88 kilometers west-southwest of the capital Port of Spain, 91 kilometers west-northwest of the second city San Fernando, and 110 kilometers east-southeast of Carúpano in Venezuela. The second quake, which occurred 4 minutes later, had a magnitude of 4.2 and was felt mainly in the capital, San Fernando, and the town of Arima. Over the weekend, the country was hit by 2 earthquakes of magnitudes 5.1 and 4.2. In other news, the Barbados government has started sending home workers a week after Prime Minister Mia Mottley said at least 1,500 public servants would be laid off in the restructuring component of a recovery program aimed at turning around the ailing economy. Confirming that the retrenchments have started, head of the civil service, Dr. Louis Woodruff, said Monday that those affected by the exercise were being given a package that includes an exit check for vacation leave, severance, and other entitlements. He said the first wave of job cuts should be completed by tomorrow. Among those who have already received their packages are security guards, postal workers, and employees of the Ministry of Transport and Works. A further 1,000 jobs are expected to be cut in the next fiscal year, mostly from statutory corporations. But the National Union of Public Workers, which represents the majority of government employees, is not happy with the manner in which the Mottley administration has gone about sending home public officers. And Assistant General Secretary Wayne Waldron, speaking to local media house Barbados Today, is warning that the layoff program will backfire.
Contrary to one thing, the departments are not overstaffed. And what they're saying, the cutting is to cut up wages and the divisions in their departments, which will be scrambling to keep up level efficiency. And the other consequence is that there's going to be pressure on the remaining human resources that they cut the slack now that you have lose significant numbers of staff. So this can got consequences for the remaining public officers, especially in some departments.
Philip J. Pierre will continue on as St. Lucia Labour Party political leader for another year after securing more than 95% of the confidence vote during the closed session of the party's 68th Annual Conference of Delegates. We get the details in this report from Riani Isidore of HTS News Force.
St. Lucia Labour Party political leader and Castries East Member of Parliament Philip J. Pierre on October 21st asserted his role on the party leadership during the closed session of the annual Conference of Delegates. The confidence vote in political leader Pierre was cast, as is customary, by a secret ballot. But it was no surprise when the final count overwhelmingly confirmed his tenure for another year. SLP delegates voted to retain Pierre by a sweeping 273 ballots in favor against 3 no votes.
I'm very pleased. I want to thank the delegates for showing confidence in me. I also want to thank the members of the parliamentary group, particularly the other 5 members of parliament who we've worked together. And our objective is to improve, to have a better life for the people of St. Lucia, to improve the quality of life of St. Lucia. I'm very happy, and from now on, it's a matter of working to convince the people of St. Lucia that our policies are different, that we have a different vision and a different view of how St. Lucia should be governed.
In 2017, Pierre secured a 220-vote endorsement for the coveted political leader post. 13 opposed him then. The 5-term Castries East MP assumed the role of SLP political leader after his predecessor, Vieux-Fort South MP and former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony, relinquished the post after the 2016 general elections. The once long-time deputy political leader garnered endorsements from St. Lucia's political elite in the run-up to the 2018 Conference of Delegates. Ex-United Workers' Party Minister and Castries Central MP Richard Frederick, the leadership of so-called minority political parties, including Lucian People's Movement political leader Thurl Prudent and Organization of National Enlightenment leader Peter Alexander, have all given Pierre the thumbs up. Dr. Tennyson Joseph, keynote speaker at the October 14th Conference of Delegates open session, also signaled to party loyalists his nod for Pierre. Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the man once presumed to be a front-runner, recently quashed rumors of a challenge for the political leader post. Pierre may still have to survive at least 2 more confidence votes before the next general election, constitutionally due in 2021, is called.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a Calypso icon passes.
So I'm also going to add some cinnamon. I got this straight from Grenada, so thank you to my friend Lisa for bringing back some nice fresh cinnamon bark for me. And if you don't have the cinnamon stick, you can just use a little bit of powdered cinnamon. So I forgot to mention that I have my heat on very low because I want this to simmer. And I want all the flavors from those roselle or sorrel leaves, I want it to be extracted from there and go into my sauce.
It's one of the most anticipated events of the year. November 4, get ready for Latin Festival at Free Lawn starting at 3 p.m. Featuring out of Puerto Rico, Sun Divas. Out of Sweet Sugar Sonic St. Kitts, DJ Elvis. From Jamaica, Romaine Virgo. And out of Dominican Republic, El Alpha El Jefe. Get your tickets now at Cajola Cristal Limited, online at latinfestival.net. Avalon Lab in the Sands Complex for only $35 EC until October 28 and $55 after. At Uncle Fats, you can get your VIP tickets for only $320 EC until October 15 and $350 after. Limited amount available. Save the date, November 4. Get ready for Latin Fiesta. Sponsored by Cajola Cristata, Hobson Enterprise, St. Kitts Marriott Resort, Caribbean Cinemas, Stag, and Mojitos La Casa de Albano.
Preview. 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 Welcome back. We continue with some sad news. Legendary Trinidadian calypsonian Winston Bailey, better known as the Mighty Shadow, has died. Relatives confirmed that he passed away in hospital on Tuesday after 3 a.m. following a stroke on Sunday. The Mighty Shadow, who turned 77 earlier this month, was due to receive an honorary doctorate from the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies in a few days for his contributions as a composer. The university said on Tuesday it would go ahead with a presentation in special tribute to the late calypsonian who was offered the doctorate earlier this year. The former Calypso monarch, international soca monarch, and Road March winner was awarded the Trinidad and Tobago Hummingbird Silver Medal in 2003. Tributes have been pouring in since his passing. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the Mighty Shadow had revolutionized the calypso world with his haunting sound and unique delivery, which he crafted and perfected in an impressive catalogue of work spanning several decades. Opposition leader Kamla Prasad Besessar said he made an indelible contribution to music and culture. The Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association said he was a true patriot and a friend, and the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Calypso Organization described him as one of the greatest lyricists of all time. With the Mighty Shadow's death coming on the heels of the passing of Pan Maestro Ken Professor Fillmore, former culture minister and calypsonian Winston Gypsy Peters said Trinidad and Tobago had lost another icon.
Yes, the other day Shadow was up and about and strong and giving us all the creativity in songs that won, the imaginary songs, the creative mind and all of that, and today he's gone. And you know, just only so like a couple of weeks ago we lose Professor, which was my dear friend as well. And the depletion of this, you know, of our cultural fraternity without any real replacement in sight is a frightening thing.
The Cayman Islands has a new governor. The governor's office announced the appointment of United Kingdom diplomat Martin Keith Roper to the post. He replaces former Governor Anwar Chowdhury and is expected to take up his appointment at a month's end. The former governor was removed last month after a Foreign and Commonwealth Office investigation into unspecified allegations leveled against him. Roper's appointment also comes at a time when there is a difference of opinion between Britain and Cayman Islands over the effectiveness of the current UK Overseas Territories relationship. We get more in this Cayman 27 news report.
Career diplomat Martin Keith Roper is Cayman's new governor. It's an appointment opposition leader Ezra Miller is cautious about.
I mean, I've seen the CV that has been sent out by the Government Information Services. It's an impressive CV. I don't like to make too much judgments on a person until I look them in the eye.
On Friday, the governor's office announced Mr. Roper, a 53-year-old father of two, as Governor Anwar Chowdhury's replacement.
When it comes to acceptance by the people in the Cayman Islands, he has some big shoes to fill, those left behind by Mr. Chowdhury.
Mr. Chowdhury was Cayman's first non-Christian and Bangladeshi-born governor. He was appointed back in March, and he made his presence felt in Cayman. But 4 months into his term, he was recalled to the UK for a Foreign and Commonwealth Office investigation into unspecified allegations. Those were never released.
And I think that there needs to be more openness, more transparency between the relationship with Cayman Islands and the United Kingdom and how that is administered.
Mr. Miller says he's hoping Mr. Roper will take an open-minded approach with the opposition. As for what he would like to see the new governor tackle first,
The most important thing is corruption in the country. The other thing is I believe that there's much that needs to be improved in the civil service. I agreed with Mr. Chowdhury's decision to cut a lot of the bureaucracy. I'm hoping that those things will continue to be implemented.
after his appointment was made public, Mr. Roper tweeted on his official Twitter page, "Delighted to be appointed Governor of the Cayman Islands by Her Majesty the Queen. Great honor and privilege to have opportunity to serve its people. Have heard so many positive things and excited to be arriving with my wife Lizzie on the 29th of October." Mr. Roper was Minister and Deputy Head of the UK mission in Beijing.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, the USA Cricket beat Jamaica Scorpions as they wrap up their regional Super 50 campaign.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Take photos of important documents and secure them in waterproof containers or bags.
Come and experience exceptional fun, meet amazing people, enjoy fantastic food, and rock the nights away to world-class music at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 3 nights of musical entertainment from the 27th to the 29th of June 2019. Book now and save the date. For more information, log on to stkittsmusicfestival.net. St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
What is it that we have not discussed here, Rachel?
Sure. So I think that something that hasn't been brought up and really hasn't been discussed in mainstream media during all of this is the negative side of Me Too and the sort of cultural precipice that we're facing here. Yes, I think that it is incredibly important that we are seeing this wave of support for victims and support for people who are telling the truth. But what is also happening is an automatic support for these victims without there being evidence.
Monaik Patel's maiden list 800 fell to Jamaica Scorpions as USA Cricket wrapped up their regional Super 50 campaign with an impressive 74-run victory on Monday. The 25-year-old carved out 109 off 126 deliveries as USA raised a decent 240 for 9 off 50 overs after they were sent into bat. Barbadian Aaron Jones made 66 while opener Alex Amsterdam chipped in with 21. New ball seamer Jerome Taylor led the attack with 4 for 34, while pacer Derval Green supported with 2 for 48. CBC's Kamal Haynes followed all the action at the 3Ws Oval.
0 on 127 for 2 in the 31st over, but we're having a big third wicket partnership of 108 between Aaron Jones and Monaik Patel. After many singles, Jones gets creative and reverse sweeps to third man for 4. Skipper Nikita Miller into Jones from the opposite end, and is swept to the fine leg and over the ropes. Patel on 71 from 94 deliveries picks up his second 6 of the innings, driving Andre McCarthy over cover. Then he lifts Miller over the top and into the cover boundary as USA moved to 154 in the 36th over. Jones got to his half century by driving well through the covers, picking the gap and completing his milestone from 90 deliveries inclusive of 4 fours. And after the drinks break, he went into overdrive lifting Derval Green over the infield, one bounce into the long-on boundary. But shortly after, Jones gifted Christopher Lamont his wicket, easily caught on ball to go for 66, breaking a 135-run partnership as USA were 189 for 3 in the 42nd over. Patel continued to find the gaps and picked up his century from 120 balls inclusive of 6 fours and 2 sixes, and he celebrated in style. The runs kept coming for USA from the bat of Patel, here opening the face and guiding the ball to the third-man boundary. The experienced Jerome Taylor came back into the attack, and he got the wicket of Jan Nisar Khan, caught behind by Chadwick Walter for 7, USA now 208 for 4. Patel continued delivering, sending Taylor to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. But Taylor had the last say, getting the big wicket, out-caught by Reynard Leverage for a well-played 109, inclusive of 8 fours and 2 sixes. USA now 213 for 5. Elmore Hutchinson came to the crease and greeted Taylor with a long handle, sending him straight for a maximum. That shot wasn't going to deter Taylor as he picked up his third wicket. Roy Silver bowled for 4, USA 229 for 6. The wickets continued to fall. Next to go was Saurabh Nechavalkar, bowled by Green for 5, USA 237 for 7 in the penultimate over. Tamil Patel followed soon after, brilliantly caught by Lamont at backward square leg for 1, the score 240 for 8. USA would end on 241 for 9 from their 50 overs, with Hutchinson the final wicket to fall, run out by Jerome Taylor for 16.
The defeat meant Scorpions could only finish second in Group B regardless of the result in the other group match between leaders Combined Campuses and Colleges Marooners and Leeward Islands Hurricanes at Kensington Oval. And in that match, rain was instrumental in CCC's victory over Hurricanes. The Hurricanes posted 209 for 9 in their allotted 50 overs, with wicket-keeper batsman Devon Thomas hitting a top score of 46, while the right-handed Casey Carter added 26. The pick of the bowlers was fast bowler Jermaine Levy, who had best match figures of 4 for 48. The Marooners had a solid start in their reply despite losing the wickets of opening batsman John Otley, who scored a polished 67 off 94 balls, and Amir Jangru, who perished on 9. CCC managed to reach 170 for 2 before the rains came, and officials awarded them the match under the Duckworth-Lewis method by 8 wickets. Both Nicholas Curtin and Jonathan Drakes were left stranded at the crease on an unbeaten 65 and 21 runs respectively. Over to athletics now. The Jamaica government will not have to pay for accommodation for athletes at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. TVJ's Denise Walters explains why.
State Minister in the Ministry of Sports, Salondo Terrelong, says based on an MOU signed in November 2017 between Japan and Jamaica, the athletes who will arrive in that country for the 2020 Olympics and Paralympics will be hosted in the prefecture of Totori at no cost to Jamaica.
And as it relates to the prefecture of Totori, our athletes will be camped there free of cost. I mean, this is a very, very big deal. And I want to thank, all the members of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Mr. Samuda and their team, they've been working very, very hard to accomplish this.
Terrelong was speaking at the Totori Prefecture Government Jamaica Olympics Association Friendship Exchange at the Japanese Ambassador official residence Friday evening. Totori hosted Jamaican athletes as they prepared for the 2007 and the 2015 IAAF World Championships, which took place in Osaka and Beijing, respectively. However, only track and field athletes were accommodated on both occasions, and President of the Jamaica Olympics Association, Christopher Samuda, says the association wants to expand the relationship after the 2020 Olympics.
We will deepen that relationship beyond the sport that will take place in Tokyo. We will deepen it in a cultural context as well, as exemplified by the relationship that your country has with our Westmoreland parish. We will also broaden the vision to include technical assistance. And we believe that sport is a vehicle by which countries can not only share the expertise and share the competencies, but it's a vehicle that can engender lasting bonds of friendship.
Meanwhile, the Japanese ambassador Hiramasa Yamazaki assures that a warm welcome awaits the Jamaican athletes when they make the trip to Japan in 2020.
In September last month, thanks to Chairman Mr. Shinichi Hamasaki, I was able to visit the training campsite in Tottori. The city and the facilities are all so beautifully maintained, and I believe that Jamaican athletes will get the warmest welcome from the people of Tottori during their stay.
There is also a signed MOU twinning the Prefecture of Totori and the Parish of Westmoreland through agriculture, culture, sports, youth development, education and the economy.
And finally, Barbados swept the Under-18 basketball championships in Guyana on Sunday. HGP's Kristen McGlennon reports.
Competition after slipping through the gates in a pin and needle match won with a close win over St. Lucia 7-6. They had to play host nation in semis, but the home side couldn't hold off the Bajans as they lost the match 13-11. It was a kind of redemption night for the boys from the land of flying fish when they took on last year's champions Martinique, who had won both titles in 2017. The Bajans got past the French-speaking Islanders with a 12-8 victory. Here is the captain of the Barbados male team.
It was fantastic. We put a lot of work into our games every single night. We came here with a lot of confidence. We came here to St. Lucia, the previous tournament. We didn't do very well. We get another chance to come back. A slightly different team, but we came with a lot of confidence. That's the difference between us and the rest of the team. We came with a lot of confidence.
The women got past their French-speaking counterparts by a thin margin of 8-7 to take the victory. Here is the Barbados women's captain.
It was good. Everybody gave their best effort. We came out here expecting, not knowing what to expect, but we knew that we were going to give our best and take home the title.
What do you think made it different for Barbados on this occasion?
Well, the boys went last year and they came back and they kind of gave us some feedback on what it's like. So we hadn't had a group, and before we prepared. Did our players, did what we had to do to be ready to fit.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back. And that's Caribbean Newsline. Have yourselves a good night.